Hi, I often speak about digital physical transformation, which includes the Internet of Things and the role of AI in it. And naturally, I cover many of their applications, and of course, I expound on their benefits. But digital physical transformation also comes with many pitfalls, which I can't help but poke at. Yes, there are the well-trodden questions about cybersecurity and privacy. But there are also several other questions that IoT and its conspirator AI introduce. Here's more on that in this excerpt from one of my talks.
Those are some tangible impacts. There are some even broader, higher level issues, questions around cyber-autonomy, which is really a societal kind of issues. With all of this connectedness and devices monitoring us and us using devices, will there come a point where we will not be allowed to be disconnected, right? What does that mean? What does it do to our privacy? What does it do to our mental health and anxiety? And then there's another impact, potentially. What does it do to our human agency with a lot of automation and a lot of intellectual and labor work going away? What does it do to our meaning of work? And is it potentially going to result in exclusion from society as well? So let me just illustrate this, for example. Let's say that you have a resource, whether it's in the office or industry somewhere or on the farm, and that resource has increased its performance capacity over time and it's usable, but now it's, in this particular point in time, it's basically saturated, it's not moving very well. And then another resource comes along that's just recent and is rising in performance exponentially. What are you going to do? At what point in time are you going to discard beta in favor of alpha, right? And so it could be a piece of machinery, it could be whatever. But in fact, it's happening to us, right? That beta is our brain, which has evolved over time and it has gained in performance, intellectual performance, but our brain is not incrementally, exponentially growing in capacity. In fact, it's shrinking over time, but it's not growing in intellectual capacity, whereas AI, as we've experienced recently, is now starting to exponentially rise. And so what is that crossover point? What does it mean for our society and our human agency? So where the heck are we heading with all of this anyway? Well, you can define human agency in a number of different ways. I think for me, a human agency is all about having certain relationship, using our intellect to create things, to do things, and also work with our hands, our labor. That brings meaning to us as well. So where are we heading? What is the trajectory we are on? Well, let's take a quick look. Back at the start of last century, most people got their agency from labor, from using their hands. Of course, there were people that used their intellect, and that was all good. However, over time, we've seen automation, and some of that labor disappeared. A lot of that labor disappeared, but there were people that were able to move into more intellectual work. In fact, back in the 60s or 70s, Warren Bennis, who was an organizational consultant, said there will be, in the factories of the future, there will be only 2 employees, right? And there will be a man and a dog. And the man will be there to feed the dog, and the dog will be there to keep the man from touching the equipment. Okay, so we've gotten rid of labor, more or less. So now we're left with, extract labor from labor, you're left with interrelationships and intellect. Okay, but we are experiencing new technologies, AI and machine learning, and that's also now impacting our intellect. And we're kind of in the same situation as the previous one. We have two employees, a man and a dog, or human and a dog. But now the dog is a cyber dog, and it's there to keep our hands off of the algorithm, so to speak. So we've taken away now intellect. So we've taken away all of this stuff. So we're left with relationships. And so the question is, with all of these good things that are happening, what does it mean to our relationships? How are we going to relate to each other and relate to this intelligence around us, the ambient intelligence? And what does it mean for society and how we're going to change and what the future holds for the evolution of humanity?
So, what do you think? How do we tackle these concerns? I think the first step is to elevate the digital literacy of our public sector around digital physical transformation, IoT, and AI, to enable the corresponding policy and governance innovation from a position of strength. For more on these public sector imperatives, check out this article co-authored with Nilofer Erdebil at Spring to Innovation and myself. See you next time.